Hey everybody, it's Steve back at the shop again. I want to do a really quick video here on the brakes on a H Farmall. Your early Super H's are the same, and the M and the early Super M's are the same, or just a little bit bigger on the M. This is basically just kind of a little information thing here. If you've never been into this and you don't have any brakes to speak of on your tractor, and you've already done your adjustments on it, you think you're going to have to go inside there and you want to know what's actually in here. I've got an H here that I'm parting out. I thought it'd be a good opportunity to take a look inside here in case you've never seen the inside of this housing here. Ordinarily, I've already taken the bolts out. Your part of your linkage would already still be on here. You got several 9/16 head bolts around. Of course, you'd have your spring from there to there. I've already taken the bolts out. You'll have a half moon key here that you'll have to remove. If you're fortunate enough, there's supposed to be a felt seal. You can actually see it here. There's supposed to be a felt seal that goes right there. Most of the time, I dare say most of the time, this is going to be gone. This particular one still actually has it in there, although it's dry rotted. I'm going to go ahead and pull all this out and let you see the inside of this. All this just slides. Once you remove the bolts around the outside, all this literally just slides off. There's nothing to it. You've got a band. Your band brakes will more than likely stay in the housing there. This right here is your pivot point. You can see the band swelling open and closing, and then when you crank down on the brake pedal, it closes down against that drum. Now this particular tractor here, there's a seal right back here. The seal goes bad on these tractors. It gets all this stuff soaked in oil, therefore you have no brakes. You can see that's what's happened under here. Been leaking oil for quite some time. All the parts on the inside are oily, coated in oil. There's a way to, if you've got oil soaked brake pads, I'll probably get around to making a video on this one of these days. You can actually take that brake pad and an oxyacetylene torch and actually cook the oil right out of that brake pad right there. These old school jokers here are made out of asbestos and brass and Lord knows what all else. So you have to be careful what you're doing there. But this particular liner here looks like it's in good shape. There's still distance between the facing and the rivets there. You can see there's still a little bit of a gap. Now if you've got some of these things and you got your brass rivets that hold the liner in place here, if you've got brass showing, you might accidentally find some brass where the marks have been rubbing up against this drum right here. It might be time to get these replaced. I have a place in Memphis. I haven't used it in quite some time, but actually it's a similar setup in the PTO and the 100 series, a little bit smaller scale. It's somewhat similar in a PTO, and I have had those relined at a fraction of what new ones would cost. But anyway, let me get this out of the way here. There's also something else I need to mention. There's also adjustment on the bottom of this. You need to look in your book. There's a screw that goes all the way through. I don't know if I can demonstrate it here. You can barely see it sticking out there. That takes up a lot of play. I'm not going to go into detail on that. To be perfectly honest with you, I have forgotten the exact details of it. Of course, you got a drain hole there. That's supposed to be there. And there's an adjustment on that that will actually keep the brake pad tighter against the drum. Now this right here is nothing but a 3/4 inch bolt, lefty loosey, righty tighty, if you will. When you go to take these off, there is that right there, that top piece there is actually a seal. It's nothing but a piece of cardboard, or gasket material, I should say. This seal actually closes this area right here. So when you put this together, that seal is, in theory now, actually closes all this up, because once, you'll see here momentarily, as the inside of this drum goes into this housing right here, it will operate it with that pinion gear, pinion gear. Let's see. You notice right there, you got a seal surface. This area right here goes inside the gear housing. Okay. If you don't have that outer paper seal in there, you're going to have oil. It's going to go past here and go right out the end of the shaft, and you've defeated the purpose of replacing this seal. Now here's another little fun thing. Don't try to take these out thinking, well, this just comes right off. Now if you got a super series, like a Super M, yeah. But now the straight letter series, you got to pop the top. You got to take the bull gear out of the way, completely out of the way, pull the pinion and all this business out of the way, because this is a cage. There's a section back and behind that you will break off if you try to take these bolts out and try to drive something in here to pop that out. Don't ask me how I know. You have to disassemble all that crap back in there. So if you're smart, you'll get a puller and you'll pull this seal out and not try to take all this mess apart. It gets kind of hairy when you get to doing all that, and it's time consuming. Not necessarily hard, but it is time consuming. Now, these seals are, the old ones, these old seals are leather. Most of them are Chicago rawhide. If you look against here, you'll see there's two runs. Wipe this off here. You'll see the two runs, number one, number two. They were double leather seals. Over time, that leather will actually eat away at this metal. Now, word to the wise, if you've got a lot of wear in here, you got two options. And when you go back, you can actually, some people actually go back and put two seals back in their place. I never have. I've only gone back with one neoprene type seal when I replaced this. But I have had to go and take the parts, be it a shaft or be it one of these, go to like O'Reilly's or somewhere and let them measure the depth of that groove, and not go for a number swap on that seal, but let them measure the outside diameter of the seal and measure the inside, the deepest part of that groove. That way I know that when I replace the seal, the replacement seal will close inside these grooves. Because if you don't, guess what? It's going to leak. If you go back with a number-to-number swap out, or a number-to-number cross, you haven't compensated for that wear spot there. You're going to have a leak. I'm going to actually probably save this. Like I said, I'm parting out this tractor. This drum is actually in really good shape. I'll save it. I'll put it on a shelf for later. Hopefully I'll never have to use it, but I have had to replace them. If you notice this reinforcement that's in here, these things used to break right through there. Now there are a solid series of these. I honestly don't know. I would assume it was because these were breaking, and that's just a guess on my part. But I have changed them where these were cracked, broken all the way through. This can be quite a noisy affair when you're out bush hogging or something and you think you've digested the gearbox on your bush hog or something, or torn up a gear inside the back of the transmission. And that's nothing more than this sucker here is broke. So there again, when you go to replace this, your best bet, leave the cage intact. Don't screw with that. Pull this out. If you don't have the bad grooves worn, and this, like I said, this is true with a crankshaft pulley. It's true with any of these shafts that come out of these old tractors. If you look inside here, you notice this is leather. This is where your rod goes through for your pedals. To get you oriented here. It's the same deal here. That's a piece of leather inside that old seal. And I have changed these. You can change these in place too after you drain the oil out. But that leather, once it gets grit in it from years and years of being in the field, that will actually eat away at the metal, and it'll leave these grooves in your hubs and your shafts and your pulleys. And you have to compensate for that groove. Get a good focus on this thing here. There we go. You can see that one there. That's actually not in bad shape. I've seen them twice that bad or more. I've seen them so cotton picking bad you had to replace the whole thing because there was no way to get around that wear groove in that piece of metal. Alright, so hopefully this short little video you might have learned a little something. Thanks for watching.